Hey guys, how you going? So, just finished A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzan Collins. First part of this review is not going to have any spoilers. Second part, I will warn you, going to go into some spoilers. First of all, straight off the bat, it's a good book. It's not an amazing book. I'm going to rate it at 6 out of 10. I think that's actually the lowest score I've ever given, but that's because I steer away from reviewing stuff I don't like. There are some writing problems, mostly attributed to the foreshadowing of the Hunger Games, in my opinion. So, the book itself tries to reference what's going to happen in the Hunger Games, and there's lots of setup for the Hunger Games. Now, if this was written before and released before the Hunger Games, it looks like a really clever thing to do, but because it's written after, it feels like pandering. They reference an idea and they say, oh, this idea is really going to be catching fire. They reference the Mockingjay all the time. And they even end up referencing Katniss when they go and find some Katniss plants. So, in my opinion, that's fine if it was before, but it's not, it's after. Obviously set during the 10th annual Hunger Games, they are very different to the Hunger Games that we know from the original trilogy. And it's basically the story of how we get from where they are to where they became. Now, if you look at the way they are in this book, it's very much close to the original source material that Suzan Collins was inspired by, Battle Royale. Now, they start off very much like a battle royale thing, and they move towards the Hunger Games. It also follows Coriolanus Snow and his journey from being a inspirational young boy all the way through to where he is in the novels that we see. So, yeah, 6 out of 10. Not fantastic, not awful, definitely worth checking out, especially for Hunger Games fans, a must-read for Hunger Games fans. The audiobook version is very good. The narrator, anyway, I can't remember his name, but he also did Stephen King's The Institute, another book I really, really enjoyed. He is a very good narrator, but people have complained about his voice being a little bit monotonous. And it's not really, but it is don't listen to this book when you're sleepy. You will miss loads of it. And also there is a lot of singing in the book, which is terrible for any narrator to do. So he did a good job, but he was shackled by the singing. Now, going to get into the spoilers section, and for me the biggest problem, so spoilers alert, if you don't want to see any spoilers, turn off now. Thanks for watching, have a fantastic week, I'll see you next time a book I'm excited comes out. So, spoilers. Everyone gone? Okay, right. The evolution of Snow's character is ridiculous, like completely, there's nothing to it. So obviously, he meets Lucy Gray. She's the tribute from District 12, and they end up falling in love. And so you're always thinking, well, what terrible thing is going to happen to Lucy Gray that turns Snow into this despotic tyrant? And basically nothing. Nothing happens to her, and nothing happens to Snow. He starts out as this idealistic boy, and then he's trained by the doctor, and she points out a few things about society and control and the contract and all of that jazz. He ends up in the arena for a bit, obviously, and bludgeons someone to death, which, yeah, it was life or death, survival. But he wasn't really shook up by it. Well, he was a little bit, but he wasn't really shook up by it. And then towards the end of the book, all of a sudden, he's this capital. I mean, he was capital loving, but he was downtrodden. He was poor. He wasn't doing particularly well in the capital. And by the end of the book, he's this capital loving patriot who is 100% behind killing people for any reason. The ending of this book is terrible. It's the worst ending I've ever encountered. They get to the lake house. So Coriolanus is accused of He's not accused. Coriolanus kills a guy, and the weapon is out there, and he makes it into officer school. And he's about to go to officer school, but he thinks he's going to get arrested because the DNA is going to be on this gun that he used to murder someone. So then they go out to the woods. He runs away with Lucy Gray, and as they're out in the woods, they go to the lake house and they find the guns. On the way there, there's a small incident where he says that he killed 3 people, and she's like, "Oh, who's the third one?" And he doesn't think on his feet, but it's because he stitched up his mate and had him killed. So she then she gets a little bit wary about that, and it's referenced for like a second. Oh, they don't talk for the rest of the journey there. They get there and they find the guns, and so Lucy Gray, who's this lovely little artist girl, puts together that now he's got the guns, he's not in any danger, so he's going to go back to the capital, and she decides to kill him, and he realizes that she's trying to kill him, so he tries to kill her. And the motivation for that is just not there. It's so jarring. I can't explain it. And Suzan Collins references Wordsworth 2 or 3 times in this book, and she even said that this book was came from the idea of one of Wordsworth's sayings, where he says the son is the father of the man. In other words, your childhood defines who you're going to be when you grow up. And Lucy Gray is referenced to a Wordsworth poem, and there's lots of debate over whether it's a ghost or whether she just disappears. And then that's what happens at the end. She just disappears. He thinks he shoots her. He's not sure. He's stumbling around because he's been bitten by a snake that turns out not to be venomous. So it's just panic that's making him stumble around. And it's just one of these, like, well, what the hell? It's such a bad ending. The whole progression from nice boy to despotic murderer happens literally in a couple of chapters. There are some other things in there that I'm struggling to remember, but basically it's awful. To rate as a 6 out of 10 for a Hunger Games novel, some people have said it's slow paced and stuff. Yeah, if you watch the films, I can see how you might think it was slow paced, but if you've read the other books, it's roughly the same as the other books. A little bit more on the morality and socio-political side of things, but not noticeably. The Hunger Games are much shorter, but then they have a little Hunger Games at the end where they're trying to kill each other for no good reason. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the Hunger Games, Songbirds and Snakes. Definitely listen to it. Don't be expecting absolute genius work here, though. And yeah, that's about it, guys. So I hope you're having a fantastic time. Later on today, I will be releasing this week's homesteading video. So if you want to see what we've been up to, then yeah, tune in later and have a fantastic time.